Hello and welcome everyone to this week's COT review. I'm Thomas from COTbase.com, and today we're going to have a look at the 50th Commitments of Traders report this year. As usual, we're going to start off with the changes in commercials positions. Here we go. You can see that we've got gasoline on top with a 24% change in commercials positions, 25% change in large speculators positions. Here we go. You got the change size over here. It's definitely larger than average, and I could say even it is the largest change this year. So, and considering this little trend line that we can see over here, it may be a good risk-reward trade. Let's have a look at the 5-year chart and see how extreme this market is, whether there's a COT extreme. Not really. So it's only, I would say, the change size that could affect the prices this time. Let's move on to copper. 21% change over there, opposite direction. Commercials have decreased their positions actually pretty rapidly. If you look at the chart, we can see even larger changes, but this is definitely a larger than average one. They're net short roughly 10,000 contracts. Of course, the opposite is true for large speculators. They're around 12,000 contracts net long. Looking at the 5-year chart, let's have a look at the extreme in this market. If you look at the 5-year chart, we're not at a huge extreme, close to all-time extreme, but we can talk about a relative extreme. If you look at the commercials chart over here at 10,000 contracts. So actually the last time we were here, that started to push prices lower, so it could happen this time, and considering we have a sell signal from the change size as well, maybe a good risk reward trade. Oats, let's move on. 18% change over there. Here we go. We've got the chart. You can see that we have actually a lot of times large changes in Oats, so this wouldn't be one of the largest ones. It's definitely larger than average, but nothing really special. Let's open the 5-year chart and see the extreme. Okay, we don't have one, so it's not really the market I would suggest to trade this week. Let's move on to large speculators COT extreme. Wow, we've got currencies on top of the list everywhere, so extremes are building up in currencies. Pretty interesting. Australian dollar, we had it on top last week with its all-time signal. And we've got Mexican peso following it, but let's first talk about the Australian dollar and the extreme that exists over here. Again, a warning, of course, you see an all-time signal in markets doesn't necessarily mean that next week prices are going to drop or rally. It's pretty hard to pinpoint the exact bottom or top, but it's definitely a good measurement of the stress levels. So if you look at the Australian dollar, and whenever we were at such an extreme, usually that coincided with a bottom or a top in prices. So it's definitely a good signal, and I would suggest everyone to have their eyes on this market. Good market, nice potential in it. Mexican peso, we haven't talked about it for a long time now, so it's an interesting market. You can see that we had a similarly large extreme a few months ago, and it started pushing prices lower, but that stopped. And of course, as it did, and prices started to rally again, we can see that commercials and of course all participants are going towards their extreme territory. So same rule is true over here. Not sure whether this is going to be the top. It's always a matter of combining other technical analysis as well. If you look at this chart, maybe a good risk reward trade, and COT could be supporting that trade also. Moving on to Russell 2000, we talked about it last week because of the change size. This time we're opening it because of the extreme that exists in this market. If we open the 10-year chart right away, you're going to see how this market looks like. The extreme, if you look at it, exists because of the 332 report extreme in large speculators. So we're very close to the zero line, and actually I believe we might even be net long. We're going to open the 1-year chart. Yep, we've just turned net long, so that's quite rare in this market, and that could easily mean that prices will decline sooner or later. Moving on to the Japanese yen, we had an all-time signal for quite a long time in the small speculators. That changed, so we've moved away. So we could be starting to get closer and closer to the point when we really reach that bottom. It's a very difficult and hectic kind of thing to do, and wait, but it's worth waiting, because really, if you look at these examples in the past, they were really nice correlations between the extreme and the market behavior at bottom in prices. So have your eyes on these markets. Very good opportunities. That's going to be all for this week. I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much for being with me. If you would like to have a more in-depth analysis, just come on our to our webpage and check out our subscription service. You can add a lot of great functions to your table to have a really in-depth COT analysis. Check out other COT report types. So it would be a good thing if you checked it out. So again, thanks very much for being with me. Have a great weekend. Hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.